So I would like to welcome everybody again to the first ever virtual Greater Cincinnati Environmental Educators. My name is Gwen Roth and I work for the Soil and Water Conservation District. We're going to go through these steps a little bit each time before our presentations. We're going to have an animal encounter right now until about 3:30 when we have our first breakout session. And then we will move on at 4 o'clock and have another animal encounter, and then 4:15 our final breakout session. So I would like to introduce, this is a surprise to us all, what animal the Cincinnati Zoo is bringing with us today. So I'm going to hand it over to the zoo.
Everybody, my name is Sarah Navarro, and I'm one of the education managers here at the Cincinnati Zoo. I want to welcome you all here. And I have one of our animal ambassador friends. You can probably hear him. He is very eager to meet you. I have his playground set up here behind me, and we're hoping he will stay right here. It's too bad we don't have smell-o-vision.
Hi, Spud.
Come on over here. Because our friend here is a striped skunk. His name is Spud because he was born at Zoo Boise, so he is a little Idaho Spud. See if he'll explore some of the things we put out here for him. I have some delicious treats for him here. We have a box full of shredded paper and some mealworms for him to explore. These striped skunks are from our area here in North America. And they will eat just about anything that doesn't try to eat them first. They are omnivores and scavengers. And right now he's scavenging for some tasty treats. They're just about the only animal that I don't mind listening to the sound of them eating. I don't know if you can hear it. He has some nice little lip smacking and crunching sounds going on as he investigates and finds his tasty little mealworm treats in there. In the wild, he would use those big front claws to dig in rotting tree stumps or all over underground and around to find things like grubs to eat. So sometimes you might see parts of your lawn dug up, and that's because you've had a skunk visitor who's come to eat some grubs in your front lawn. The mealworms aren't found necessarily around in your front lawn, but there are definitely some larvae, which a mealworm is, some larvae of some of our native bugs that you might find around in our yards. And so he'll eat different insects and all the different forms of them. He also will eat different plants and all different smaller animals. And they also like to get into our garbage, so they can be a bit of a pest, but they like to live near humans because we are a good source of food, unfortunately. So make sure you keep those trash lids on nice and tightly, or you might have a visitor that you didn't expect in your yard.
Hey, Sarah, I'm going to interrupt really quickly just because I forgot to say something before. If any of our attendees have any questions about our beautiful little skunk here, just type them in the Q&A and we will make sure that Sarah can answer those for you.
The striped skunks like Spud, like I said, do live in our backyards and around us here in Ohio. You wouldn't want to get this close to one of the ones that lives in our backyard because they are not necessarily famous for what they eat so much as for what they do when they're surprised or when they're protecting themselves. And that is their smell, which I joked about in the beginning with the smell-o-vision comment. They are very well equipped to protect themselves with these lovely scent glands located underneath his tail. And when a skunk is protecting themselves, they will do quite a few things before they ever spray. They will stomp the ground, smacking it with their front feet. They will scratch at the ground, and they will lift up that tail, make themselves look really big and scary. And if that doesn't work, then they will turn around and look at you with both ends. They'll sort of make a nice U shape, and then they will spray. And that spray can reach over 12 feet. And it is very, very smelly and can be smelled for over a mile and lasts for a very long time. As anyone with a dog who has encountered a skunk will probably tell you, it sticks around for a while. These skunks do not want to spray and use that spray unless they feel like their life is in danger, though, because it does take a while to make more spray. So that's why they do all of that warning that doesn't involve spraying before they actually spray. A skunk also has a different kind of warning on their body in the form of their coloration. That black with the white stripes is aposematic coloration or warning coloration, and that tells anybody, even in the dark, because that white shows up in the dark, watch out, stay away, leave me alone, and hopefully gets that point across before the skunk ever has to spray them. Because any animal that has encountered a skunk in the past usually will remember it and remember that pattern and does not want to encounter a skunk again. So that warning coloration is usually enough and serves as a reminder to warn anybody, again, to avoid that stinky skunk and another spray from a skunk. Unless you're like most of my friends' dogs who get sprayed literally every time. Do we have any questions from our friends watching about our super cute, super awesome Spud the skunk?
So one of the questions we had that came up in the Q&A is, does this skunk have his sprayer removed, or have any of you guys ever been sprayed by the skunk?
That is a really great question. Thank you for asking. Spud has had his scent glands removed so that he cannot spray, although you'll notice Jaren is getting nice and close to him and he is not threatened, even though she's right by him while he's eating and coming up right behind him. So he is very familiar with us and is not feeling threatened. So we probably wouldn't have to worry about him spraying us, even if he did have his scent glands still, because he's so comfortable with us. Not everybody, but us. And he doesn't have his scent glands because, like I said, he's comfortable with us, but not with everybody. So it makes sure that it is a nice and safe experience for anybody who meets Spud. So he doesn't have his scent glands to prevent accidental spray. No, none of us have ever been sprayed by Spud, but we right now do have baby skunks out back that are Spud's children, and they did get one of their keepers pretty well the other day because they had not been descented yet.
Another question we had in the Q&A is about his claws. Why are his claws so long, and what does he use all those claws for?
Well, as you saw him digging for those mealworms, he uses those to dig up the dirt and to dig in old tree stumps and things like that to get to his food.
So what should people do if they see a skunk in their yard or getting into their trash or something?
Really good question. Definitely don't get this close. This is far too close to a wild skunk. You don't want to get this close. if you see a skunk in your yard, observe from a distance. Make sure that your garbage, after the skunk has left, make sure your garbage is nice and secured with, it's a nice back view.
Nice little booty shot.
With nice bungee cords on the lid, or putting it into a trash can that can be secured to prevent them from getting into it, because skunks should not be eating garbage. That's not their main food source. They should be eating things that they can find in the wild. And observing them from a distance if they're doing wild skunk behaviors that they should be doing. If there is a skunk that is doing something that it shouldn't be doing, trying to help them make good choices by preventing the behavior you're seeing, by removing that temptation to get into the human food like garbage that brought them to that bad decision to begin with, is probably the best way to have a good relationship with the skunks in your neighborhood and in your yard.
Do skunks carry any kind of disease that we need to be worried about?
That's another really good question. Skunks can carry diseases. That's one of the reasons you do not want to touch or pet or interact with a wild skunk. All of our skunks are under our veterinary care here at the Cincinnati Zoo, and they do get all of their vet checkups and their vaccines. But wild skunks can carry illnesses, so we want to make sure that we don't interact with them. One of the things that they can carry is rabies, and so definitely not interacting with a wild skunk. That's always a good choice. One of the reasons we are wearing our masks and making sure not to put our hands on Spud is because we have to make sure that we don't pass coronavirus onto him, because he can catch that from us. And so we have to be very careful to wash our hands and stay clean and sanitized around him so that we keep him safe.
Well, that is just fascinating. I want to thank you both, Sarah, and I'm guessing that's Jaron behind the camera, for showing off this skunk and teaching us all kinds of fabulous things about it. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you at the zoo very soon, and hopefully we'll see you in some of our zoo classes. Bye.
Yes. And stick around, participants, because the zoo will be back with another animal encounter at 4 o'clock. So for those of you just logging on, my name is Gwen Roth, and I want to welcome you to the Greater Cincinnati Environmental Educators' first ever Ultimate Educator Expo virtually. So this is the 21st year we've actually been hosting this expo in some form or another. Usually we're at the zoo, and that's why we have our zoo partnership showing off of all of our animals today. But due to coronavirus, we're not able to do that. So we're trying this wonderful virtual experience. You can visit the GCEE website to find all of our partners' information. Okay, so many more than just the breakout sessions we have available. Virtual programs, field trips, activities, all kinds of stuff. That website, and I will show it again at the end of the session, is www.gc-ee.org. So a few housekeeping reminders for our program today. If you have any questions for the presenters, please type those in the Q&A. I'm going to be monitoring this Q&A, and just like I did with the zoo, I will ask those presenters the question towards the end of their sessions. So any questions you have, please just stick in the Q&A. We will be recording this session, and a copy of this session will appear on our website within 2 weeks of the end of the expo. So if you didn't get to catch all of it, or you want to share it with a teacher friend, those videos will be available. We will also be picking a door prize winner at the end of each session, right around our Q&A time. You have to be present to win. So we'll draw a random name and then we'll call that out and we'll get your information. The handouts from this session have already been posted on the GCEE website. So again, www.gc-ee.org. And finally, if you want a certificate of participation, you can go to that website, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of our session. But I'd like to welcome Brenda Metcalf, who is the Executive Director of the Environmental Education Council of Ohio. So Brenda, thank you very much for coming today.
Hi, thanks for having me. So my name is Brenda Metcalf, and I am with the Environmental Education Council of Ohio, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see some of the stuff that we're working on. So the Environmental Education Council of Ohio, and again, I'm Brenda Metcalf. I'm the Executive Director. I've been the ECO Executive Director for 17 years, which is amazing to me that it's gone by so fast. So ECO, for those of you who aren't aware of the Environmental Education Council of Ohio, it's actually a nonprofit that is primarily a professional development organization. We've actually been around for over 50 years, and we partner with the Ohio EPA, the Office of Environmental Education, and we've been partnering with them for over 25 years. So we tried to do different programming throughout the last 25 years, and we are thrilled that we see over 30-some thousand people every year at least, quite a few students. And that number, even this past year, it was hard with the pandemic, but we are able to see thousands of kids with Zoom and this platform and other ways. So some of the things that we offer, professional development, college credit hours are available. We also have an annual conference that rotates around the state, which unfortunately this past year we could not do the 2020 conference, so that will be taking place in April of 2021. Our winter conference, the winter snow conference, will actually be a virtual conference, and the 101 conference unfortunately had to be canceled. So look forward to the winter snow conference. And we also do EE certification. We have publications, newsletters, all kinds of stuff on our website. We do eco tours. We really desperately try to connect adults and students to nature and help them in the world of learning more about nature. So our current initiative is the Environmental Careers Initiative. And again, we've been partnering with the Ohio EPA, the Environmental Education Fund, and we've also been working with Ohio State University and their Environmental Professionals Network platform on a career initiative. And this all started when we were talking to students about what environmental careers were out there. And we actually had students telling us like the top two that they thought they were Smokey Bear and the recycling person. Now, Smokey Bear, love Smokey Bear, but it's not a career. And the recycling person, love the recycling person, but there are so many other careers out there that are environmental, STEM, green careers. So there are so many that are currently on Ohio Means Jobs. We actually have been working with them to get career pathways on there and try to get students connected with some environmental careers. This is just a small sampling of environmental careers that are in Ohio. And the students, again, we want them to know that what we would like for them to do something that they're passionate about. So if they're passionate about environment or animals or wildlife or plants, trees, whatever they might be passionate about, we would like to help connect them to an environmental or STEM career. We also want them to realize that they don't have to have a 4-year degree or a 6-year degree to be able to do a career in the environment. There are some positions, wastewater treatment facility, water operators, that you do not need a college degree to do those positions. So we would like to help, again, connect those students to things that they can feel comfortable doing. So we have started these career chats. The career chats actually blossomed out of an idea from Ohio Department of Natural Resources, Division of Wildlife. They had a chat with a biologist, and we loved that idea. And especially since now we're in this virtual world, we had quite a few what we called career ambassadors. They're volunteers. And we have a number of these folks, hundreds of them around the state, that are actually willing to go into classrooms and talk to students about their careers. Well, when COVID hit, we had to push all that virtually. So we do have the opportunity, a number of these career ambassadors are willing to do Zoom calls similar to this with a classroom. Many classrooms, though some of them have gone back to school, they still aren't allowed to have guest speakers. There might be a few out there that do, and again, we have those folks that are willing to travel to classrooms to talk. But for those schools that can't, we have these career chats. So a environmental professional can talk with a classroom via Zoom, or we have a number of them that are actually participating in a chat with me or someone else who's interviewing them about their career. And you can find those career chats on our website. So if you go to ecoonline.org and you get onto the student page, which is in the drop-down menu, you'll see a number of these career videos that have already been recorded. So we, again, are trying to connect those students. Now for middle school students, we would like for the educators, the teachers, to work with those students to talk to the career professionals. But now we do have some high school kids and college students who can connect one-on-one and give to email these career professionals and ask them, these environmental professionals, and ask them about their careers. So we, again, have that where they can do a Zoom chat with the professional, or they can actually conference call them or just even pick up the phone or just email. And we're trying to, again, connect students with shadowing opportunities, anything that we can. So this has a little bit more information about where you can find. So you can go to the Wild Apricot, the ecowildapricot.org or ecoonline.org, and find those career chats. We have so many things on our website right now. There's tons of information. And then my direct email is there as well. If you have any information that you would like to share with me about your careers, or if you know of a teacher who's looking for certain types of careers, or if you know someone who has an environmental career that you think would be great at sharing their pathway with students, let me know. We're always looking to branch out and get new people involved, especially in these career chats and in these videos. Okay, so I know I went through that really quick. That's just kind of an overview of what we've been doing. And the career videos, I guess I can show you that real quick. Let's see if I can find it. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see. If you go to our career page, which if you I can move the little Zoom thing out of the way, there's a drop-down menu and it'll take you to the students page. And you can see on here we have so many things to offer. But there's wildlife officers, wildlife educators, an environmental attorney. We have naturalists, research scientists, soil scientists, parks, just so many wonderful people have already volunteered to help us out. So again, if you click on the person's name, you'll go to their video and you can see it. And then their contact information, if you have more questions for them, you can go there. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's just the career program of what we're doing in ECO. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or not.
So Brenda, could you show us one or two of those videos?
I can. They're kind of long, so that's why I didn't really want to click on them. But if you like, you can see a little bit of Julie's. Yeah, you don't need to see me. So that gives you an idea. Again, they're really long videos. So
Brenda, and we can't see your screen right
oh,
now.
okay. The problem is, again, they're really long videos. Let me see if I can get it back. Maybe not. Can you see it?
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay.
Brenda, we're having just a little bit of problem hearing that.
Okay.
But I
Well,
did want to ask you if a teacher wants to do one of these career chats, can they do like a live chat with the people? Or?
Absolutely. So we actually prefer that you would be able to do the live chats with them. So if we can connect you to a naturalist or biologist or engineer or whatever, if you're actually looking for someone to talk to your classroom. Now, I've talked to a few classrooms just because there have been so many students in the classroom and they wanted to talk to, there were 20 different possibilities and the teacher just didn't have time for that. So that's why we're trying to do those videos. Now, if the classroom is actually, let's say they have a soil topic going on, so we might contact someone like you, Gwen, or Linda Pettit at a soil and water office or something like that, someone like in the Soil and Water Conservation District, to talk to a classroom about soil science. So, and if they're talking about trees or forestry, we would then contact someone. So if they're already working on something in their curriculum and then they want to try to connect it to a career, if they're talking about insects, they need an entomologist, we'll try to connect them to an actual person to do these live chats. We would prefer them to be in the classroom, to be honest. We'd prefer to be able to go to a school and do a program and see kids and be able to, do whatever, an activity, OD or whatever. We just miss having that personal interaction. But since we don't have the personal interaction, the Zoom calls are working actually really well.
And is there any kind of limit to the number of presentations that a teacher can request over the year?
Not at all. We actually had a middle school teacher in New Albany, or actually Westerville, somewhere, who requested 15, and it was great. So they actually, again, they looked at the topics that they were talking about and connected what those benchmarks that they were working towards and connected those to careers. So whatever career would be in that area. So, and then at the end of it, they were able to have students who really felt passionate about a certain person talking to them, then they could work with them more on a more in-depth program or project for the class.
Okay, we had a question come up in the chat. Can you show the link again for the videos? Because this person was poking around the website and they didn't exactly see where it was.
Yep. If you go to the drop-down page, so let's see. So here's our website. Can you see the website? Okay, so if you're actually on the home page, move the screen. This is the home page. This is what ECO looks like in its home page. If you're at the very top of the home page, there's some bars. It's a drop-down menu. When you're on that drop-down menu and you scroll down to student STEM careers and you click on that, it'll take you to the student page. And on that page, there's also a student brochure. There's information about trying to, again, what students might be interested in. And then as you scroll down, you'll see where it says career chat videos. And the blue part where you see the person's name, you just click on the blue name, and that's a hyperlink that'll take you to the YouTube video.
Fabulous. Another question we had is about some of the other things that ECO was doing. You talked about like winter snow and the 101 conference. Can you tell us a little bit about that? And also, how do teachers get involved in this?
So the conferences that we have, the regional conferences such as 101, Winter Snow, we also help with the Appalachian Green Teacher Conference, which is in the Athens area. Those regional conferences, the 101 conference, again, unfortunately, has been canceled for this year because of COVID. And in the past, it was a one-day event where we made it relatively inexpensive for folks to be able to go and to go to different sessions. And we offer contact hour certificates for those so people can use them for their continuing education units. We also have the Winter Snow Conference, and we help out with the Appalachian Green Teacher Conference. The Appalachian Green Teacher Conference will be taking place this fall. So there will be more information once they have their presenters lined up. We'll have more information about that on the website. And then the Winter Snow Conference, which is January, I want to say 29th, that will be virtual. So registration is not up yet for that conference, but it will be going up hopefully in the next few weeks. And once that registration goes up, you can then register for your sessions. And again, it'll be very similar to this. It'll be like a Zoom type call and webinar type situation. And we will have contact hour certificates as well for that. We will not be doing college credit this time around for the 101 conference, but we will be offering those contact hour certificates. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, in the spring, we will have our annual conference at Houston Woods Houston Woods State Park Lodge and Conference Center. So again, fingers crossed, come April 15th, we'll be able to have that conference and be near everybody.
Thank you very much for that. I did have somebody also ask, this is not just me, although I do have a little love for it, but about the backdrop that you're sitting in front of.
Gee, Gwen, I wonder why you have so much love for it. So the backdrop is the 50th anniversary Eco Quilt, which Gwen, God love you, put it together, assembled it for us. So each one of these squares that you will see, someone within the organization made those squares. And then we all sent our squares to Gwen, and she made it into this beautiful quilt. So you can see some more of it. I actually had, for the longest time, behind this is just a plain wall. And I was talking to students in classrooms, and the students were holding nothing back to let me know that my wall was very boring. So, so because I didn't have anything neat to put behind me, and I don't have any way to put shelving behind me, I put up the quilt. So I've actually had quite a few positive things about it. So again, Gwen, kudos. Thank you so much for making it for us.
It was most definitely my honor. And just to clarify, all I did was sew it together. The amazing
that was a lot.
artwork. Yes.
There are a lot of squares.
From all over Ohio is really cool.
It is really cool.
So tell us, how do professionals and teachers and other EE folks become members, and what's that cost and what's that look like?
So the membership is pretty varying. We have a student and a retired or senior citizen rate of $20. Regular individual rate is $35, a professional is $50, and then it branches up for organizations and nonprofit organizations. So if you go on our website and you click on the Join Us, you can see all the different parts of the membership. For our membership, you do get, if you are a member of ECO, you get a reduced rate at our conferences, which helps in the long run for sure. And the other big portion of understanding about our membership is it's not just, you're not just supporting or trying to get a reduced rate at the conference, you're actually supporting environmental education statewide. So our organization, yes, we are the affiliate of the North American Association for Environmental Education, and we are the partner of Ohio EPA, but we do not get any, and the reason I'm saying this is we have a lot of people who misunderstand and they think we get tax dollars. We do not get tax dollars. And so membership, we are a membership-based organization. So when someone pays their membership, it actually then helps us do environmental education statewide. We have a environmental structure, so a regional director structure within Ohio. And within, so in Cincinnati, we have 2 regional directors, and we have the other 7 regions of Ohio, at least 1, if not 2 regional directors.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. Does
Absolutely.
anybody else have any other questions for Brenda? You can just throw them up in the Q&A right now. We've had lots of wonderful questions from our participants.
And if not, if something occurs to someone later on, by all means, again, email me and I'll see what I can do. Oh, there's one.
So yes. Oh, that's a good one. What's the favorite part of your job?
Actually seeing people. So you can only, for those of you who don't know me, if you looked up extrovert in the dictionary, my face is probably there. So the whole quarantine aspect and not being able to have the interpersonal communication with people has been extremely rough for me. So I love being able to meet new people and travel around and talk to students and adults about what I do. And watching adults get reconnected with nature has been super valuable.
Yeah, and that's certainly been something that during these times when we're all quote unquote stuck indoors, we don't have to be stuck indoors. You can go out and take a hike and reconnect with nature and all of that. We
are hearing a lot of feedback from our friends in metro parks and state parks that more people are actually going outside into the parks than ever before. So yay!
Yes, absolutely. That's fabulous.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, I just had a door prize name picked. So I am going to call out that door prize name. So if your name is Sophie, and I don't have a last name, but if your name is Sophie and you are logged in, if you could just put a little check mark or raise your hand or a little I'm here in the Q&A. And then what we're going to do is we're going to use your email that you signed into the Zoom conference on to contact you and then send you your door prize. Brenda, do you want to describe a little bit about what the door prize is for Sophie?
Well, Sophie has some options. I have a plethora of books if she would like any of them. And I can actually, if she contacts me, I can show her what those books are. And then she can also have a free registration to our Winter Snow Conference.
Oh, lucky Sophie. So again, if your name is Sophie, if you will just put up into the Q&A, I'm here. And if we don't hear from Sophie in the next minute or so, we're going to call somebody else. So we'll see. Sophie's here. Sophie's here. So lucky Sophie. So what we're going to do, Sophie, I am going to send you an email and I'm going to CC Brenda on that. I'm going to get you guys connected and then you can work on your door prizes together. Okay. Any other questions for Brenda? And Brenda, I want to thank you so very much. I know you and I have worked together for a few years. You fully admitted you were there 17 years, so good for you.
Yeah.
I've been here a little longer, but I always tell people I started when I was 12. So.
There you go. Yeah. See, I've been in the EE world for 30 years, so it's all good.
It's pretty amazing.
Shout out to Gia at Cincinnati Parks and to Aaron with Riverworks because they are our regional directors. So
yes, they are our fabulous regional directors down here in Southwest Ohio. So definitely a great shout out to them. Thank you so much, Brenda. And again, if anybody wants the handouts from today's session, They will be available on the GCEE website. And Brenda's contact information is also on there. So you can, any questions you have for her that you didn't think of now and you want to get to a little bit later, that will be perfect. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank
Gwen.
you so much, Brenda. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.